everyone, it's Tammy Mastroberte with Elevated Existence, and today I want to talk to you about getting grounded. But first, I want you to be able to recognize when you're not grounded. So, what are some symptoms or examples of not being grounded? You are anxious, nervous, frazzled, stressed. Your mind is going a million miles a minute. You can't focus to finish anything. You are just absorbing like a sponge, taking on the energy from your environment, and it's frazzling your nerves. If you are an empath in any way and you tend to absorb or take on other people's emotions or the emotions from the environment, this is even more important than anything, is to get yourself grounded and to learn how to quickly sort of reground yourself when needed. So I want to share a couple of quick tips about getting grounded, because when you are grounded, when you are rooted into the earth and completely here, you are more aware, you're more conscious and in the present moment. You're calmer, you feel safe, you feel protected. So if you're not feeling that way, if you're not feeling present and mindful of the present moment, if you're not feeling calm, if you're not feeling sort of present and safe, then you could probably use some grounding. So here are a couple of tips to help you. Number one, essential oils can be extremely helpful when it comes to grounding. In fact, Young Living essential oils and doTERRA essential oils both have grounding blends that you can buy, which actually blends a few different essential oils together for a grounding. It actually has the word grounding in their in the title of these particular blends. So you can look into getting a grounding blend. You can also use specific essential oils, like vetiver is very grounding, sandalwood, frankincense, ylang ylang, and also patchouli. All of those are extremely grounding essential oils. So you can diffuse them in your environment. You can get a diffuser. You can put them a little bit on your wrists or, behind your ears. So there's a lot of different ways to sort of use them. You can just, sit quietly and take a few deep breaths of the essential oil, and it can help you ground. So if you don't want to do one of those blends, you can do any one of those particular essential oils, and they are extremely helpful in grounding your energy. The other thing, and you may have heard this before, is nature in and of itself is extremely grounding. So if it's the right time of year where you live, or maybe if you live in California, it's usually always the right time of year, where you can just sort of go out and take a walk. Maybe on your lunch break, maybe after work at night, maybe first thing in the morning. If you can get out and take a walk and just sort of breathe in nature, spend time in nature, even meditate. If you can go to a park and sit on a bench and just get quiet for a little while, that can help you ground. Also, if you walk barefoot, so take your shoes off and walk barefoot on the dirt, on the grass, on the earth, and just breathe in, almost do like a walking meditation where you're just sort of walking and just grounding your energy with the earth. You're bringing your spirit back into your body. You're bringing yourself back into center and back into the present moment. That is extremely grounding for us when we walk barefoot. Even, I know this is going to sound a little like cliche, but hug a tree. You can go and hug a tree. Now, maybe you don't want to go out in Central Park if you're in New York and start hugging trees, although it's New York and people probably wouldn't even bat an eye at it. I used to work in New York City. But you can do it in your backyard, even if you press your forehead up against the tree. So if you just sort of lean into the tree and take a few deep breaths, that is grounding. People make fun of people like, oh, a tree hugger. But they're the best tree huggers because you're grounding yourself. So absorbing that, even leaning up against a tree and meditating is another way to sort of ground yourself. But if you're like, I'm not going to go out in my backyard, my neighbors are going to see me hugging a tree and think that I'm crazy, then do the walking barefoot. That will 100% ground you, and nobody will think you're crazy walking around your yard as long as it's, nice out and you're not walking around in the snow. So grounding in nature is a huge, huge, huge yes. And the last thing is, and this is good for anxiety or for, and it's also a very grounding yoga pose that you can totally do at your own house. And it's called legs up a wall. So you can look this up online. But basically what you do is you sit, you lay down with your butt all the way up against the wall and your legs going straight up. And you just lay there with your legs up the wall. I like to just flex my feet and just sit there and take a few deep breaths. It's excellent for anxiety, and it's a very grounding pose. It just sort of recenters you. So it's called legs up the wall. I'll see if I can find a link to it, and I'll post it under this video as well with a little bit more instruction. So if you haven't ever done a yoga pose, you'll understand it. But it is very, very grounding. They do it in restorative yoga a lot. It's a big restorative yoga pose. So I recommend that as well for grounding. So if you're frazzled and all of a sudden you're just like, I need 5 minutes, put your legs up the wall, take a few deep breaths, say a mantra to yourself, and just breathe and relax, and that will help ground you. So all of these things are pretty simple, they're pretty easy, and they don't take a lot of time. And diffusing essential oils, not only will you be grounding, but everything around you will be smelling amazing as well. And you can pick, again, either one of the blends that you like, or you can pick one of those individual essential oils that you like the most, and you can use that. So get to grounding. Again, especially if you're empathetic and you tend to take on energy, make sure you ground yourself in the morning before you enter your day, and then re-ground yourself at night. It only takes a couple of minutes, and sometimes, again, with the essential oils, if you just have them diffusing, you can be doing a million other things, and that you're taking in that energy and you're grounding. So make sure you do that. It's essential for really being present, hearing the intuition, opening yourself up to signs and synchronicities. You have to get grounded. So try some of these exercises and see how you feel. That's the biggest thing that you can test yourself. How do I feel? Do I feel calmer? Do I feel more present? Do I feel less anxious and stressed? And when you see the difference, you'll want to do it over and over and over again. So I wish you all luck, and I will see you next time.